Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Builds Back to Life. Today on the channel, we are going to be doing a repair. It hasn't been in a while that we've done this, but we have to do this anyway to sell this item. So what we have here is an HP PhotoSmart 6525 printer. I got this at a garage sale, as you can see, for $10 up there. I'm pretty sure it came with the manual. It came with the power cord and the USB cable. Also an installation disc, I believe, but nobody needs that anyway because you can just get that on HP's website. But the problem is, as I've been testing this, I have noticed a problem, and that is that the black color does not show up. On this diagnostic sheet that the printer does print out, there is supposed to be apparently a black block. I'm guessing just like these in these varying shades. And you can see here that it does not print. Everything else is good. Obviously you can tell that the yellow, the magenta, the cyan all work. And I even tried to just copy off a book cover just to make sure that the black was in fact not working. And these are supposed to be blue buffalo here. And as you can tell, they are not black. I have read on some forums about this, and this does appear to be a somewhat common problem with this printer. Although the people that I bought it from at the garage sale said it did work fine when they stopped using it. That was a month or two ago. It may have been that while this was sitting in my garage, the black ink just got clogged in it. Who knows? From HP forums, that does appear to be the most common problem with this, is that the black ink does get clogged on the print head. And so you have to clean out the print head in order to fix the problem. People were asking the question, well, if the black ink is not working correctly, then how in the world is it printing this black text? If you combine these three colors together, it makes kind of a composite black, and that's the reason why it has black text, but the black itself does not show up. And if you look closely at it, you can kind of tell that it was made with a bunch of different colors anyway. What we would need is some warm water. I just put mine in a cup. Also some paper towels. So the first thing he said that you need to do, the printer is already on, although the screen just doesn't pop up here. Okay, so you can tell that the screen is on right there. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this top, which will make the print cartridges accessible. And now at this point, the guy on the YouTube video said at this point that you should unplug it while it's on so that the cartridges are still available for access. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to unplug the thing. Now we have the print cartridges stuck right there so we can remove them. And I'm going to remove them all. Alright, so I'm just going to set those off to the side. And this does give you a little bit of a guide to tell where those go back in at. Alright, so at this point, the guy said to go ahead and get a paper towel with warm water. That's what I'm going to go dunk this thing into. Obviously, you probably want to wring it out a little bit so you're not just dumping a whole cup of water into a printer. That probably wouldn't be too smart or good. Okay, I think I wring it out to a point where it's still damp, but it still has water in it. So I'm going to go ahead to set on. I'm just going to go ahead and set this inside. Now at this point, you want to take the print head and roll it over to the wet paper towel. All right, and we got that over there. Then we're going to take a smaller piece of paper towel. Probably going to just tear this off. Okay, and we're also going to put this one in the warm water. Wring that out a little bit. We're going to push on the black section, that little circle you can see down there, and hopefully this will unclog the print head. I think he said to do this for a few minutes. Okay, so I changed this a couple different times during that little couple of minute span there, and here's the last one. There's not much left coming out of there. The instructions were given to just slide this back over to where it was right here, and then hopefully at this point everything is working. You can see everything that came out right there. The next instructions were to put these ink cartridges back in. And I did not drain the yellow, cyan, or magenta ones. He did say that once you put all of these back in, the ones that you have tried to unclog or drained a little bit, it will take a couple different prints for them to get back to full color and everything. So we will try it out now and see what happens. Has an improper shutdown error, lol. You're a $10 printer. There is no improper shutdown error. Let's just check how bad things are out of whack after that. Alright, so it still is not printing black. So what we're going to do, so we don't use up any of that color unnecessarily, we're just going to do some black copies. Alright, so still nothing. Okay, we do have a small amount of black. Okay, we have nothing on that sheet. Alright, so that first try, since it did not work, we are going to go ahead and go for the second try, where we actually open this whole printer up, and we take the print head out manually and try to manually clean it with some isopropyl alcohol. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all these screws out. We have one right here, one back behind here, one right here, and then I think there's another one maybe underneath the screen that we'll have to remove. Also, this little stand can be pulled out, I believe. We're just going to go ahead and get right into it. So let's start with this one. This is a T10 head that I'm using. Alright, so you weren't able to see me do it because I was leaning over this too far, but if you can see up here way in the top, there's this little latch that clamps down on the peg that's on the side there, and that's just to keep this from rotating back too far. You potentially could get this undone by using your fingers, but I just went ahead and got a flathead screwdriver and pried the slide up over the top of that peg, and the coupler just pulled right off. It's not an easy removal, but it's one that with a little bit of force you can do. Just try not to break the little coupler on this. So now with that leaned up, we can get to the other screws we need to get to. It actually turns out there are two small screws right here behind the screen as well. And we got the last screw right over here. Alright, and now we can pull this off. What I might do is I might just leave those, honestly, so I don't have to put them back in. What we gotta do is take these springs, loosen them like that, and make sure to remember that the circle goes down the very bottom and the little half oval thing goes at the top. Now we need to get all these cables off of this printhead. Cable 2 and cable 3. Alright. And just to make sure these ribbon cables are okay on that, I'll just set that back down. So we finally have our printhead out. This is the printhead. So if you can see how dirty that black printhead is right there, I'm assuming that's got to be our problem of why it's not working. It does look pretty clogged, or at least not clean. It's definitely not as clean as the other side. Anything like that you want to be careful of, not get any water on. Alright, so I've been pushing down on this with some water, just basically the first technique that I used in the first fix that we tried to accomplish. And you can see all of that ink that came out. And I was just using a piece of paper towel like I was beforehand. on the top of one of those little screens, trying to push down and get as much ink out as possible. What I think I'm going to do now, though, I don't see how it would be any different than what the person in the video was doing. I'm just going to take a Q-tip and then with some rubbing alcohol, also known as isopropyl alcohol, I'm just going to rub this print head. And this could, be a bad idea. I don't really know. The bottom line is it's a $10 printer to me, and probably a donation printer if it doesn't work. So there's not really any chance that I'm going to hurt anything, in my opinion. That looks a lot cleaner than it was. So I might do that again with the other side, and then probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a paper towel of the isopropyl alcohol and just let this sit on there for a while and see how much else comes off. Then we'll install everything, put it back in, and test and see if it works. Alright, so we're back. I let this probably sit in that isopropyl alcohol on that paper towel you can see in the bottom left corner there for probably a good 15 minutes. I also went over it with a Q-tip, and then I also tried to get, it looks like some crusty stuff in between this brown part and then the dispenser, you would say, I guess, of the head itself. There's two little sort of ridges in between those two sections, and it looked like there was just some crusty stuff in there that wasn't in the little ridges of this other side. So I went ahead and just took a very, very, very small flathead screwdriver and tried to lightly scrape some of that out. And then I also, just because I already had it out and everything, I went ahead and took the paper towel that I had the isopropyl alcohol on and just wiped this whole surface. And it actually looks pretty darn good now. I think it looks a lot better than whenever it came out. And like I said, I only have $10 into this, and so if I did something wrong, I am not going to be the least unhappy about this. So let's go ahead and reinstall everything. All right, so we're gonna have to lift this part up. You can take this top piece off. You just have to undo two different ribbon cables and this cable. But since I don't feel like disconnecting any of those, I'm not going to. All right, so it's gonna go back down in here like this, because of all the cartridges are going to fit down in there, and then the heads of the cartridges are just going to go right there. So we just need to reconnect these ribbon cables. One right there, and then one right there. Okay, there's one in. Alright, we got it in finally. Alright, I think it looks like it's in. One thing you do want to make sure is this plastic strip right here. There is a small black notch on this printhead thing. There's two different pieces there. You want the plastic strip in between those two black pieces on the printhead. Alright, so that's all good to go. Now we just need to put the springs back there. And as we said before, the circles go on the bottom. We'll use the tweezers. That actually worked pretty well. Okay. Spring number 1 is on. And over the top. Alright, so both of our springs are on now. Go ahead and put those two screws in. Go ahead and put this screw in. Next. There we go. Alright, snap that back into place. Let's put our 4 cartridges back in here. Alright, so at this point I think we are ready to power this back on. Alright, so we have power. Now this may print out nothing that actually has any ink on it at all, but we'll check it out and see. Because I drained all of that out of there, so we'll see. Okay, wow, we got some color. Oh my goodness, people. Look at that! It's got some black on it! Let me remind you what this used to look like. Right there. It used to be all white, and now we have some black. So now, let's try to print out a couple more of these, and we'll see if it continually gets better or not. Oof, okay, yeah. At least we actually have black showing up now. So the magenta and yellow looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and clean the print head. There we go. So it's going to clean it real quick, and hopefully that will kind of clean this up. But that's good news. We actually have black showing up now, which is amazing. Alright, it's printing out another quality diagnostic page here. Okay. So everything looks pretty good. It's just black is still looking pretty rough there. A little bit better, little by little. Okay, so black is actually showing up on this alignment page. You can still see the streaks in it. I'm not sure if the more we do this, if that will improve, or if we just improved it to the best that it can be with this print head. Okay, so this was our last one. I do think it's getting better. So obviously this fix has not fixed this printer completely, but as you can tell, it is getting better and better the more we clean the print heads. I am going to continue to clean the print heads just over and over again, just to see if potentially this black can clear up a little bit more. However, as you can tell, this is what we started out with before we touched the printer at all. From just cleaning it with the isopropyl alcohol, we went from absolutely no black to now this black. So that is definitely good news. I don't know if it's possible to get it back to what it should look like, which is this, or if that would just require potentially a new print head. But at least you can get it back to here, where at least part of the black ink is actually working. Get the latest on the printing quality right here. And hey, it continues to get better and better. So this was our second to last one, and this is the last one right after the cleaning we just did. I hope it gives you kind of an idea of what to do if your printer is having this issue. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this type of content, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I will be making eventually more fixing videos, and also all of my what sold videos that I do in my full-time reselling journey. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.